Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be an indoor project day. Yesterday was absolutely beautiful out here in Winnipeg, and today, in true Manitoba fashion, it got snowy and windy, and it's horrendous outside. So today I'm going to be doing a lot of little details, kind of the finishing of my bow mount trolling motor. I ended up having to do a whole bunch of wedging to it, try to getting it level. I'll show in another video or another picture that I'll add in here how much of a slope my actual boat has on the front of it. That makes it really, really tough to level out the trolling motor. So I did a couple little things. A lot of it is done. I left everything apart so I can kind of show you and walk you through how I did a lot of that in general. Don't mind the garage. Everything else, it's an absolute mess. As I said, I had a whole bunch of stuff outside yesterday. Ended up having to throw it in quickly before the storm set in. So we'll definitely be able to kind of work around that. I bought the Minn Kota MKA21 quick release bracket. It does have two pieces to it. Of course, this puck is going to be attached to the boat, and then you have your actual plate that your motor is going to be attached to. When it's together, of course, this will slide on the inside. You have this handle here which will actually slide into the ports. That goes in. On the other side, that's where I actually have my locking mechanism, and then that's how it just gets attached to the home or to the boat. Now, I was thinking of just attaching it to the actual bow, like fully attaching it, but screwing it directly to the bow plate, especially being at that angle, it just didn't work that well. Not only that, I do leave my boat outside. It is all covered, but I just don't like the fact of something sitting around. I don't mind having the trolling motor taken off every so often, especially if I'm doing long traveling or anything else like that. This way I like to be able to have it removed. Now, I know you're going to comment on the amount of spacers and stuff and what I'm using right now. This is just kind of a dry setup right now. I had to do all these actual bolts here to kind of level it out. As you can tell on this side here, it's quite high. It does get a little lower here, and at that back side, it's almost touching. So this is the angle that I need my trolling motor to be. It will be a little bit different, of course, for each boat. Like I said, I'll have that kind of show you on my boat why I have to do it this way. I did end up using stainless steel bolts and nuts and everything else like that. Same with washers. I will be replacing all of these nuts with actual aluminum spacers. Just right now, this is just going to be for the dry fit to kind of show you how I'm going about doing everything. Now, me being as picky as I am, I absolutely hate this gap. I would not be able to live with myself sitting at the back of the boat, looking at the front and seeing that big gap. Doesn't look nice. It doesn't look finished. It's just a personal preference of mine. But if any of you guys are doing a trolling motor that has such a significant gap, maybe this may help you on how to kind of rectify that area to make it look a little bit better. I used a whole bunch of different materials. I tried going with some leftover, just some thinner plastic that I had left over, kind of jamming it in between. It was looked pretty cheap. It wasn't really durable. I'm sure it would have just vibrated out. I have a whole bunch of aluminum that I have left over as well. So I end up putting this together here. I end up bending it to the same contour of the inside of the mount. But this is a 1/8 inch thick. This stuff is not fun to work with. It's not easy to bend, notching and stuff like that. I had it all together. I had the whole thing the way I wanted it. But when I put it on, because it slides underneath this this cover and the back cover as well, what would happen is the distance here, you'd have a huge gap. I don't like that. Even with the other one that I'm going to show you, it has a slight gap, but it's much, much better. I end up going to Canadian Tire and picking up I think it was a 1/16 inch by 1.5 straight angle or a straight aluminum. And that made a big difference. So I'll kind of take everything off here to show you how I did it from here. There's two bolts, of course, taking on this panel here. This will come off. See if I can do this with one hand here. This actually just slides. There's two little brackets you just got to kind of squeeze, and it just slides right off. Let's put this to the side for now. So I did already remove this little bracket here. This bracket actually attaches all the wiring together. It kind of holds it all down. But same thing, I want to try to make it as easy as possible for the video. This will easily be able to be replaced and put back on with the piece I'm going to be putting on here. So this is the new one. Like I said, it's 1/16 inch, so it's a lot thinner, a lot easier to work with, but it's still really, really durable. Kind of slide this in. So this, like I said, it'll slide right over the bracket, right over top of the other piece, and it slides right tight into that angle. So the good thing with the way that this sits, I mean, of course, once it gets held in with the actual bracket supports, or I guess it would be like the outside fairing of the trolling motor, that'll hold everything nice and tight. It won't shake it around. Now, I did have to make a little bit of a bracket on the corner as well. This is nice and straight. I'll show you how it all looks when it gets put back together. And I end up having to notch the back here as well. So the wires do sit directly on this plate, and that's what, of course, this bracket will hold the wires down. I did make this, I guess, cut out a little bit lower than the plate, so that way they wouldn't rub on it. I still wasn't that comfortable having a ledge on there, so I ended up just making a little, kind of like a self spacer or a washer that's actually going to fit over top of that. That way it's just pure plastic underneath. I'm not as concerned with any kind of general wear and tear with that. This height will also work as well, because of the fact I don't have to worry about, oops, sorry, try to get this in the way here. This will not affect at all the quick release bracket for the actual trolling motor lock as well. So everything seemed to turn out really, really well. I'll kind of put it back together and kind of show you how the finished product would slightly look here. It just sits there. It's a little bit tough to do with one hand here. Put that there. I'll just put one screw in for now, just to kind of hold it in, so I can kind of show you the rear part of it. I'm not going to tighten it too much. So like I said, now that it's all together, this will hold it in really, really tight. Like, it's not going to go anywhere. It's all kind of stuck in behind that the actual plastic, and it holds it in really, really well. The only thing is this front part here, I didn't want to put any aluminum there. I couldn't really figure out how I wanted to do that, so I might get some really high grade density foam, cut a little bit of a wedge, and just jam it in here. Not the best way to do it. I'm not super happy with that. Eventually I might be able to figure out a better way to do it. I might even take some of this plastic and basically just kind of attach it to the front, so it does protect that whole front area, because of course that's where the most of the water is going to be getting into. It's not going to damage anything. It's just the fact that I like having everything nice and sealed. So looking at this, especially like say with the 1/16, you do get that little teeny gap that's at the bottom. It does kind of close up a little bit when I do tighten it up. Same thing with on this corner. Let's see if I can get this side here. Like I said, I'm just kind of holding it together here, but it does have that little teeny gap, but that's not going to affect anything. It's not going to make anything, you know, not operate. And in general, like I say, when you're looking at it, oops, sorry. Once it's all together, that little aluminum sheath that goes around the whole entire thing just really cleans it up. It does look like it's a single piece of aluminum. It almost looks like an aluminum wedge or something that's in there. But I definitely like the way that it turned out. It's going to be super, super solid. There's really nothing that I could do different that I could think of. If you guys have any other ideas, feel free to let me know. Put it in the comments below, and I'll definitely see if I can kind of, you know, amalgamate them together, or kind of make the ultimate spacer for this boat in general. I may end up priming or maybe painting it. I don't mind the aluminum look. It actually looks pretty good. Then you don't have to worry about it scratching or turning or deteriorating or anything like that as well. So if anything else, I may do like a what's it called, like a rock art or something like that. That's on there, just kind of make it look a little bit nicer. But overall, like I said, I think it turned out really well. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the space below. Said pretty easy project. The biggest thing is time. It probably took me, I'd probably say, a good 4.5 hours just to do that. So much taking off, putting on, trimming this, doing this, so many different types of materials and stuff like that. I ended up, like I said, going with that 1/16 alumina. I think worked the best. A lot of the stuff, don't get discouraged when you're doing projects. Take your time, especially on days like this. There's really nothing else to do, so take your time, do it right. If you have any questions, talk around, look at some different sites, get some ideas. Overall, like I said, this is going to be the final project for today. I will keep a couple videos that I'm going to be uploading later on, maybe once it gets on the water as well, the durability, how it lasted, You know, any kind of defects I've had, I will definitely tell you if something goes wrong or something breaks, or if my trolling motor is at the bottom of the river because something broke. So I have no problem swallowing my pride on that kind of stuff, but it's nice to let someone else know how everything's working. At least you have an idea on, is it actually adequate and is it going to do anything, you know, for damage wise in general. Other than that, for today, that's going to be it. I may post something else a little bit later. I don't really know if I'm going to do any electronic stuff today. It's more or less just kind of finishing this up. But until then, like I said, keep in touch. Let me know how things go. Let me know how, if you like the video, if you want to see anything else, and I'll definitely see what I can do to post more videos or more help for you guys as well. Have a good day, guys.